Today we're going to talk about ancient Phoenicians, 3200 BC to 332 BC. In the other ancient cultures that we've studied, we've looked at the ancient Egyptians. They lived along the Nile. We've looked at the ancient Mesopotamians. They lived along the Tigris and the Euphrates. But the Phoenicians are different. They lived right here, next to the ocean. The Phoenicians did not have great soil. They weren't farmers like the Mesopotamians or like the Egyptians along the Nile. They didn't have good soil. They could grow some food, but not much. They did have plentiful forests. They had cedar forests, and cedar is very strong, it smells good, and it's perfect for ships. This is a Phoenician ship. Phoenician ships were the best of the ancient world. They had one strong mast. They had a very broad bottom of the ship, which allowed them to put lots of things in it, and really good steering. Steering is important when you are sailing across the ocean. But they didn't sail across huge oceans because Phoenician ships never traveled at night. Because they didn't have really good navigation, they always had to keep sight of the shore. Because of this, they set up trading posts so that they could stop at night. And those trading posts, some of them became towns and some of them became really, really large cities, like Carthage. Carthage we're going to study about when we study about Rome, because these two guys, Rome and Carthage, they're going to bump heads, and we're going to study about that next. So the Phoenicians get really good at sailing. In fact, the Phoenicians end up sailing further than anybody in the ancient world has ever sailed. The Phoenicians sail and they do business with the Egyptians, in North Africa, in Sicily. In fact, they sail all the way up to Great Britain where they get tin. Phoenician city-states are going to be very different than the other city-states that we've studied in Mesopotamia. They don't have any standing armies. Instead of having standing armies, they make treaties. Because their ships are sailing all over the Mediterranean, they're doing a lot of business. So they're buying things from one civilization and they're selling them in another civilization. And the deals that they make is they say, hey, if you leave us and you keep us safe and you don't attack our city-states, anything you want to ship to another civilization, free shipping. Here's your package. City-states lasted independently until 332 BC when Alexander the Great marched in and took over everything. Phoenician summary. The Phoenicians had poor soil, but good trees. They built ships and traded across the known world. They made deals to stay safe. They had no armies, and they got really, really rich. But it didn't last because eventually, like I said, Alexander the Great took over everything. So I have a question for you. How was Phoenician civilization different from any of the others we've studied? And also, do you think they could have done anything different to make their civilization last longer? Write down your answers, make sure you write the class period and the date at the top, pass them forward, and let's get them in the 6th grade social studies bin.